Hello, good evening, welcome to another episode of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, and for the next 2 hours I'm going to be melting here in my super hot attic, painting miniatures live with you, hopefully. If you're painting something this evening, or even just kind of hobbying on anything really, come along and tell us all about it. Join the live chat over here, or wherever it appears on your screen. Join in with these guys, talk to me, talk to them, share some victories, talk about frustrations, air out your thoughts or whatever, and take photos of it if you want to. You can join in the chat, you can talk to us on Facebook, you can see what I do on Instagram, not a lot, and you can also join us if you like at Easy 8's After Party on Discord. Links to all of our platforms are all down there. I hope you guys have been well since last week. I am extremely tired. I only got about 3.5 hours sleep last night, and I dreamt of working and then had to go to work. So I'm a little bit like, ugh, at the moment. But I'm still excited to be here. I'm still working on Ed 209. You can see all the bits and pieces over here. I had a little victory over the week, so that was quite nice as well. A semi-victory, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Of course, if you like what I do here at Easy 8, please do consider subscribing to the show. Every subscription goes a long way. It makes the community grow. You are the community. The community growing is you sharing and subscribing, of course. So if you like what we do, or you think you might benefit, or you know someone who might benefit from the show rather, then bring them along. Bring the kids along too, man, because you know it's a family-friendly show, and it'll be nice to have the whole tribe here, right? Come and tell me what it is you're working on. I would love to know. Who have we got in the live chat today? I'm going to quickly scroll up. We've got Adrian. Hi, Adrian. We've got Shiv from Table of Horrors. Shiv, you weren't first. Normally you're first, and you're slipping in your games. We've got Crumbs. We've got, who else have we got? We've got Jeff. That's my dad. Hi, guys. I'm going to go for 1 minute 30 seconds late. You were wrong. I was early. So sorry, which is weird because I was really pushing it out of work today as well. I don't have any alcohol right now because it's really hot, so I drink sensibly. I'm just drinking water there. I can see you there talking about vodka. We've got Kez as well. And is that all we've got at the moment? That's all we've got at the moment. Hi guys, thanks for coming along. It's so warm today. My boss gave me a bottle of Lucozade. I don't normally drink fizzy drinks, but bottle of Lucozade, and it went straight down and instantly weed. Not like where I stood, obviously. I went to the bathroom like a classy gent. But yeah, like it's so warm, just so dehydrated lately. So yeah, there's a little insight that no one asked for that I'm going to give you straight away. It's still about 1,000,000 degrees here in the studio, hence I have foregone the black shirt once again. Got the fan on underneath the desk. If that is irritating on the microphone, please just let me know and I will turn it off for your viewing pleasure. Subscribe! That'd be great. Do you know what? Give it a thumbs up. I'll give you a second. Go on, just down there somewhere. There's a little thumbs up button. You know, just push it. Just do it. We're not going anywhere until everyone's done it. Anyway, let's get on. I'm going to go straight over to the workbench because I'm really excited to be doing some work on this guy. Here we go. So lots of different pieces laid out all over the workbench here, as you probably can all see. It looks like that I've been putting some bits together. They're not glued, they are just kind of resting together like that. I ran out of my Green Stuff World glue, so I went down the shops and I bought some just Gorilla Glue. This stuff instantly bonds. When I was putting the head components together the other day, I thought I'll put it on, I'll stick the pieces together and normally get like a couple of seconds of being able to slide it in position. Nope, I had to crack it apart and then do a better job of it. Yikes! It took a lot of work, a lot of milling. I had to get my little rotary tool out, and yeah, it took a lot of carving it up. It fits better together now than it ever has done, but as you can see, there is one huge great seam all the way along that. That is going to be a nightmare to fill. I'm going to do my very best with it. I don't have to do this bit in here, of course, because that's just like where a shoulder socket will go. Where are our shoulder sockets? Oh, they're over there. So yeah, that doesn't really matter. The seam under here, this bit here is going to be hidden, right? So you won't see that at all. But under the shoulder cuff, let's call it that, on the top of the cuff, it goes up here, across the top and then down the other side. But the worst bit, of course, is this canopy. So he has this I don't know, it's got like a texture to it. It looks like some sort of fabric, but it's probably not fabric. And that's going to interrupt that pattern. I can't get away from that. I tried very, very hard. There is a little bit of a seam underneath here, but you can barely see that. And I think that paint will probably hide that anyway. So yeah, no issues there. That's the head. He is together. The last piece that goes onto this is this little bit here where it's like exhausts, if you like. Hopefully the seams are all hidden on there as well. It looks like though that is all, you know, it matches up fairly well. I'll spray it. If it looks like it needs filling, then I'll fill it, but if not, I'm just going to create extra work for myself, and I'm not going to do that. So yeah, it's pretty cool, right? So it's a sizable model as well. I'm really enjoying it. What have I been using to fill it with? I've been using some green stuff. I really like green stuff. I've tried milliput recently, and I just can't get on with it. Maybe there's a special way of working with milliput that I'm not familiar with, but I just struggled. And the reason I'm using green stuff as a filler, as we were talking about last week, where the supports were attached to this model as when it was in the resin printer, has left little pits. And if I show you along here, you might be able to see a little bit of green stuff that we were looking at last week. You might be able to see tiny little craters on him occasionally. For example, if I point with this pointy tool, here's one right there. See that? That's not a detail. That's just a thing. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's a couple down here. Boop, boop, boop. And there's actually quite a few on this particular shin. On the other one, there are some, but there are fewer, which is good. Here's one. Here's one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now maybe I was lying. They're all on this side here, aren't they? It was positioned in the bed like that, so all the supports were coming up from underneath like that. So yeah, there's a little bit of filling work to do on him, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing today. I don't just want to be sitting here doing filling the entire time, so I might have a little look at the parts that don't need any filling and get some grey colour on them, because it's just exciting to go along with the colour, right? We are a painting show after all. Here's the green stuff that I was using from last week. It is so solid and so sticky, I can't actually lift it off the bench, so there we go. Pop that knife away. Lovely. So it goes rock hard, and hopefully it sounds really well. I've not worked with proper green stuff before. Not in a proper way. I've just kind of like played around with it and made stupid shapes and whatever. Oh, cat hair. So you can see where I was putting the green stuff on him last week, and it's left a tiny raised texture on there, but just a small amount. Really, really solid. That should sand away nice and easily. Of course, it will need to be re-primed, right? So that's what I'm going to have to do there. And that's what I'm going to start with today. So got my green stuff, and I'm going to use it bit at a time. If I made like a whole chunk of it, it's probably going to start reacting and stuff before I even get to use most of it. So just use it in small pieces. There's no point for wastage. So I'll just get that like that, and I'm just going to get my little knife, and I'm just going to just do a tiny amount really. This little piece here will go a really long way. Wrap that up, put it over there. Now, like I said last week, when you get green stuff that is combined, so they're actually touching each other, because you can buy it as two separate strips depending on where you get it from, cut that middle section out. Try to cut it equally so you're losing the same percentage on each side. But the problem is that they are already reacting, so they're already solidifying in the middle. Now it feels like there's nothing in there, but I'm working on such small bits here that will basically there'll be a rock solid center to it. There's no need for it. So I'm just going to put these two pieces together, and I'm just going to start smushing them. Now green stuff is really, really sticky, as demonstrated at the end of last week's show, and a little bit of water goes a long way to stopping it from sticking to your fingertips. You can buy all sorts of sculpting jellies, like just Vaseline is a really good way of getting around that stickiness, by stopping it sticking to your tools, to your fingers, and making sure that it sticks to the model in question. I've just got my painting water beside me, which I'm not using right now. It's clean. I changed it just before the show went live, and it means I can just basically just dip my fingertip, just a drip of water. That just goes away to preventing it sticking to my fingers so much. I've actually done too much now, and it's sliding around all over the place. There we go. Ooh. So you can see that tiny little bit that I've cut off is actually quite a decent amount, and I'm just using a teeny bit. Smush, technical term. You're correct, it is. We can redefine the hobby dictionary for our hobby, if you like, together on this show. While I'm smushing this, I'm just gonna go back over the live chat and see if there's anything interesting going in there. I question if it's interesting because sometimes you guys just take the live chat for a walk. I would owe you a round of drinks for every minute late. Nope. Maybe for every minute that I'm early, you guys all owe me one. That would help me out. Hi all, I am here, says Kez. I'm not going to be chatting. The computer died this evening and I don't know why. That is sad news. But you do have a history of killing computers, don't you? Don't you? Yeah, that is a bugger, you're right. Up to your eyes in Battletech mechs. Yes, actually, Kez has had a recent victory over at Discord. I think Kez has posted up some pictures of her recent lance of mechs for the Rasselhague Republic. They look absolutely fantastic, by the way. We were talking about this the other day. They look great. What else is going on? Jeff says, I will be drinking because Normandy is done. Photos or it never happened, please. Share your Facebook photos on Easy8's Facebook page. If anyone's got anything that they want to share, if they want to take pictures of all the stuff, please do put them on Facebook. Like I highly recommend it. I know some of you aren't Facebook people, and that is fine. You know, you don't have to be a Facebook person. You can share them on Discord if you want to. Do it. I dare you. Right, I'm going to go over to this leg here. My fingers are sticking. There's no green stuff on them. That's how sticky it is. I'm going to start on this one here because, well, it's where I started last week. And I'm just going to try and work my way around. I don't want to lose so much time on this. But I'm going to try and be as diligent as I possibly can. I've got a dot here, a dot there, and a dot there. So 3 little dots. I'm going to just dip my blade there in some water so that I can cut myself a tiny piece off here. And then smush that out. Gonna cut off a tiny little dollop. Now I am using my scalpel, a precision scalpel, for pushing this green stuff into place. Because last week I was using a little plastic spatula from Games Workshop. I really like that, but it's really good for like technical paints. I don't think it's really good for green stuff or putties. It just hasn't got the guts for it. So I need something with a bit more guts, because I've already said that, right? So with this scalpel, I can use the back of the blade. I can use the edge of the blade if I want to. I'm going to try my best to not scratch the surface. If I'm being gentle, I'm only really worried about scratching the paintwork, aren't I, really? But I can use its hard edge to just trim away any excess, so I can really spread it out if I want to. And when it goes super thin, I can just use my finger basically just to rub it away. And it should stay in the tiny little detail that I'm trying to fill. Something like that. Got a little tissue on hand there just to mop up any water, because I feel like it's going to be a bit of a dribbly project. I can sort of see the hole that it's come out of there, but oh well, whatever. That tiny amount that I've just chopped off there is a huge amount for the tiny little void that I'm filling, so I'm going to try and even cut that down even more. Use my thumb as a bit of a palette there. There we go. Oh. There we go. There's a little crater there. It doesn't want to stick. There we go. My dude, I was here about 20 past 2. Well, don't drink too much then, please, Shiv. All thumbs up. Thanks, Crumbs. Appreciate that. You say pits, we say battle damage or gunfire marks. The problem is, I spat then, so sorry. The problem is with printing artifacts is they look like printing artifacts. And I mean that by, you know, if you've got layer lines, looks like layer lines. If you've got support marks, it looks like support marks. So yes, you could try and hide it away by saying, oh, battle damage, Ed was never really battle damaged. The only time he was really ever battle damaged is when he had his top blown off in the movie. And there are little scuffs and scratches on this model, and I quite like that because a really big robot is going to get scuffed and scratched. But I don't want him to look all shot up. I want him to look like he's from a movie still or something, basically. So yes, you could do that. But you know, the project is the neaten it up, isn't it? Well, it is in my head. Basically, I'm just not very good at this bit yet. This is going to probably take me a while. Now, I'm hope that as time goes on, I'll get better at it. Like, I'm fairly certain when I put that piece in just a second ago, I pulled most of it out. So maybe rather than like smearing, I should just be trying to like push it down and let the pressure that I apply kind of spread it out, if you like. That looks a bit better. I'm happy with that. Just like a band-aid, sticking to everything but the thing you want it to stick to. Trying to work it in and around other details, of course, because there's like a little oblong recess there, and if I overfill that, it's just going to disappear entirely, isn't it? And I'll have no detail left. That'd be really tricky to sound in such a small area. I actually pulled the paint away. Interesting. That's how sticky this stuff is. It wanted to come away from the model, but it took the paint away with it. Interesting. There we go. That filled it a bit better. Cool, I've got a couple more dots down the edge here. I've got one there, got one there, one. Yeah, cool. So a few more to go. Now I've got another product that I could use, and that is Vallejo's Liquid Putty, but I don't rate it. I don't really enjoy it very much. Oh, Mike's joined us. Hi, Mike. Hey. So many church jokes. I wonder if, talking about me, I know that you guys are going to make double entendres out of everything I say, so after a while I just stopped listening to you. Welcome to the live chat where you will not be recognised or heard by the host. So sorry. So I've got this stuff here. I've shown this before. Plastic putty. It's a liquid putty essentially. It does apply very easily, but it just falls out of whatever recess you're trying to put it into. So if I put it into these tiny little holes here, when I sand it, it just crumbles out. So I don't really like it. Maybe I'm not using it right. And even though this is time consuming and it's really sticky and a little bit awkward, at least I've got good control of it, you know. Now, Kez and I the other day were talking about liquid green stuff, which is absolutely another product that I could be using here. Citadel make a version. I have used that particular version, and basically what Kez and I were saying is we don't like it. So I think again the same problem is it just kind of comes out of whatever it is you're trying to fill. I just find it very difficult to work with, basically. Got a water drop on the model, which has stopped the green stuff sticking to the model, and I can't get it off the scalpel. There we go. I'm just going to leave it like that for a second, just sitting there. Quick look around, see if there's any other noticeable bits. Green stuff stuck to the model there, unnecessarily so. Is there anybody in the live chat that has used green stuff or done filling work before? Have you got any tips or tricks? Any advice for a bit of a green stuff noob, perhaps? Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? Do you try to avoid it? Do you try to find a reason to do it? Because it's stuck to my thumbnail, it's coming off on the model. I suppose I want to be really careful about that. Just as bad as having paint on your fingertip, isn't it? But all this effort won't be for nothing. It will look really good. I've just found a few more holes here, so that's a bit annoying, but I'm glad I found them. Okay. Do you know what? I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute because I think it will probably benefit from just sitting idle. I've got green stuff all over my thumbnail now. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to play with it a little bit because I want to see if green stuff reacts with thinner, basically. So I'm just going to chop a little bit off this lump here. Working with such tiny pieces now, that little lump now feels like a huge piece. I wonder. I might just be making a load of mess here, but I just want to have a go. Where is my airbrush thinner? That is the question. Ah, right there, right in front of my eyes. So, tiny little bit of green stuff in a dish, and just going to put a drop on it. Well, instantly, because there's a lubricant in there now, it doesn't want to stick to anything, so I can't mush it around. No, it doesn't seem to want to like dissolve or anything. Hasn't made anything like sprue glue or anything like that. I do have 99% alcohol beside me, but essentially thinner, cleaner. That's what they all are, really, isn't it? Maybe I will try a little bit of cleaner rather than thinner. Just see if there's a difference there. Some neat cleaner. Because this is essentially alcohol. I'll add a second drop, why not? Go on. There we are. Let's see if that's any different. You can make this. It melts in ISO. Okay, some people are saying it melts in ISO. I've put cleaner in there, which is essentially ISO. I see some people saying that you could do the same with milliput. I just didn't like milliput, man. Well, it's certainly gone soft. It's lost its stickiness because it's just so darn wet now. There we go. No. Let's see if that's any easier to work with. Oh, now it's sticky again. Making this look like a right mish, aren't I? Please stop sticking to me, thank you. Doing me head in. 2 tiny little craters here. So, fractionally easier to work with. I wonder if it's because it's got cleaner on it, which is essentially alcohol, or if it's just because it's so wet. I don't know. This is Easy 8 doing all the experiments so that you guys don't have to. Liquid green stuff, that is. Yeah, first make sure you put the filler in the gap. Yep, cool, cheers. Spit works better than fresh water? Okay. Blood is the best lube? Is it? Okay. Have you just made milliput juice? I mean, it's not gone juicy. It has gone a bit squishier. Maybe I'll try some ISO in just a second and see if that's any different, because cleaner is essentially ISO. It might just have an additive in it just to help lubricate the inner workings of your airbrush, but otherwise, like, the ingredients are the same. There's like big controversy videos on YouTube about being sold marked up alcohol in the disguise of airbrush cleaner, but essentially on the ingredients label they're identical products. So how do airbrush companies get away with it? Because it might actually have a lubricant in there. Someone suggested on this channel many months ago. It's stuck to my sculpting tool and won't transfer onto the model. Come on. Yeah. Yikes. I'm enjoying doing this first piece, but I can see after like doing many pieces, probably gonna lose my mind. So I think it's quite important that I learn a tried and tested method early on, you know, because I keep pulling it out the gosh damn pockmarks. There we go. I know it will sand down really well, so that keeps me confident. That is something confident there. Oh, it wipes off the blade quite easily. That's good. Okay, cool. There's still a bit of super glue on the end of this little tool here, which is probably gripping too. So let me just clean that off a second. I use this little spiky tool to like clean the tubes out of super glue tubes and things. So it often gets like texture on it, which green stuff will probably try and stick to. Okay, cool. Look, well, that's one piece done, right? That obviously it needs sanding, and it will probably take a little while for that to dry. I doubt it will be ready today. It like needs to dry properly overnight, and then just sand it down a little bit. A quick respray with some primer, you know, jobs are good. And let's put that to a side, and let's get a little bit more of that. It's already starting to stick to that. I've got some ISO down here. ISO. And what I'll do ever so quickly is I'll just get a little drop on, you know, in this dish maybe, and see if ISO works any different. Like someone said there, it melts in ISO, but it sort of went soft with the cleaner. I wonder if this is actually going to be anything different. Like this, I'll put a whole load in there. There we go. I wonder what happens. Scoop up all this stuff here. It has gone a bit softer, to be fair, just that little bit that I was working with. So if I chop off an even bigger lump. How melty does it go? I can see it dissolving a little bit. There's like a tiny little bit of green stuff now floating in that liquid. So, okay, cool. Unfortunately, I can still see a little bit of yellow in there, like I haven't mixed it up properly, because I suppose I rushed it. It has gone a bit smushier. Look at that. Okay, cool. There's quite a lot of liquid in there, to be fair. That could have been a quantity, you know, a difference in quantity. But ISO is cheaper than cleaner, so you know, best to get it done this way. What do potters call the liquid clay that they often use as an adhesive? Is it slips or slops or something like that? It feels and looks a little bit like that. It is going mushy. There we are. Well, this is very exciting for you guys to be watching, isn't it? But I knew early on that this project was going to have a lot of modelling aspects to it rather than just painting. And yet I still chose the project. Okay. God, it's so sticky, my fingers have gone tacky. Slip! Okay, yeah, cool. It's not gone juicy, but it has gone squishy. Yeah. Did I genuinely say that? Okay. Yeah, I don't have a brain to mouth filter at all. Yeah. That is much easier to work with. he says we're just working with one bit. I suppose something that I've got to be careful about is that this is now a painted surface, and if I'm going to be using alcohol to smush this down, it could end up very easily rubbing away any of the primer that I put on here. Obviously, at a primer level, not the worst thing in the world. I just don't want to be doing it too much. Because I'm going to be sanding it anyway, right? That's going to wear away loads of paint. I feel like I've just done all of that area in record time compared to what I did on the other side. So yeah, a little bit of alcohol. Did the world of good. This one's covered in pock marks. There's a tiny little vestige of alcohol left in this little dish. I just dipped the end of this tool in it, and that helps it stop sticking to the end of the tool, but also melts it all down at the same time. So that's quite handy. I'm literally learning as I'm playing here. This is quite good fun. Too much liquid there. Okay, picking up some speed now. I hope that the sanding is easier. I've got a little sanding tool, like a little machine to do it with as well, so that might make it a little bit easier to manage. But perhaps it'll be, you know, I can do it just by hand. I feel that in a lot of places that might just be a bit easier, so I don't end up like causing any damage, over sanding, taking away any details, etc. Don't want that to happen, do I? Whoever suggested that thinner melts it down, good on you, man. I think that's a bit of a winner. Okay, now that I've kind of like smushed it into a lot of those little pock marks, I just let it set for a minute, and I'm hoping that if I go in for like a second pass, it's maybe easier to not remove it, so it's not going to pull out. It does seem to work a little. That's kind of good. Pop that down a second. Clean the end of this off. Using the back end of this tool to press it down, but it's obviously building up a little bit of grease off on there as well. Dip it in some water. And smush. And of course, I don't just have to sand; I can carve as well. So if you know, if I'm finding that sanding isn't doing the right job, I can just go in with a knife edge and just, you know, slice it down or scrape it down or something. Doesn't just have to be sandpaper. Okay, I think that's those holes done there. Got a few more on this little widget that sticks out the side. My alcohol seems to have evaporated. Let me get some more alcohol. Could just do a little drop of it there. If you'd bought the house next door, says my dad, I could have popped a few sculpting tools around for you while you were working on this. I live 10 minutes away. Just come on around. So yeah, that's also fine. Adrian says, I'm still plugging away at the 2,000 point infantry army. The Kazakin are almost complete. Just waiting on the PVA to dry before completing their bases. Excellent. Sounds like we're all having some wins today. I do actually feel like this is a bit of a victory over here, even though it is kind of going slow. It is, I think it's going faster than it could be, actually. There's a little bit of unmixed stuff there. I didn't give it the smushing that it needed. Silly me. When I lose control of it, it's just all over the place. Couple of delicately placed little holes there. right in the middle of other details, but quite noticeable. When I spotted them, I'm like, yeah, I can see it. So I've just pushed that green stuff into there, and hopefully it will stay. Hopefully it'll be easy to sculpt out or sand out or whatever. Now I could have drilled them out. Seems a bit overkill, doesn't it? By drilling them out, like this, it's like a bit of a builder's tip, isn't it? If you've got like a crack in your wall, then you actually dig and gouge that crack out, and then put, you know, like concrete fillers and things into it. When you're welding, you often like create a bigger valley for the weld to fill into, and essentially that's the same goal here. This feels a bit overkill for tiny little craters. So yeah, that looks a bit mental, doesn't it? But that is 2 pieces that I'm going to consider like done for this moment. I've still got this massive lump of green stuff here. I bought all that green stuff just for using tiny amounts like this. So yeah, that's cool. Any other bits that look like they've got little dots in them? I did notice them on these pistons the other day. So having a quick check there. There's one in there, but it's a tiny one. There's a noticeable one. There's a couple of noticeable ones. So yeah, there's some little spots there. Look. So look at the comments for a second. Let's just refocus my eyes a minute. New bases of arrived for the Praetorians, says Adrian. So once they're done, that'll be half of the line troops done. Well, that sounds like you've been making strides, mate. Well done. I've just noticed that people are talking like they're adults at the top up there. I need an adult. Come along, they said. It's a family show, they said. It is a family show, but the live chat goes for a walk, like I said. My dad says, but you live at the top of a hill, and I'm very old and fat, and it is hot. It is, and if I was to walk down the hill to pick up those tools, I'd have to walk up as well. When I lose control of it, it's just all over the place. Meh. He was always a messy child. Well, that's a hoot, isn't it? Let's scoop up this mess. This has still got like yellow streaks in it. Still not any better, is it? That sentence. But that's basically unmixed resin in there. So yeah, pick that up. I should perhaps be doing this on a like a little card or something, rather than getting it all over my worktop, which I famously like to look after. So Brooks Models, please go shopping at Brooks Models. Thank you. Shameless plug. If you want your business card and business to be sponsored on Easy 8, please get in touch. I don't charge. You could just have a shameless plug. How's that? I will chop off another piece of this big old lump there. There we are. So sticky, so sticky. Pretty much run out of alcohol again, as is life. Yeah, the consistency here, massively different. I'm just going to try and mix it up a little bit, because it's still got yellow in there, and I don't want that. Obviously, it needs to be green, because it's green stuff. The blue is a hardener, so it creates that reaction, it starts that reaction. And yeah, have I got any? A little bit in there, a little bit of alcohol left in the tray. Smush it around. So what I was hoping for when I thought of using green stuff was that I'd be able to create these really, really thin sausage strips, if you like, snip off a tiny amount, and then just cram that in one of these little pock marks. Let it set, sand it back. But that theory works, but I'm working on such small scales that those little bits of sausage, if you like, don't want to go in the right place. It's so sticky, it just comes away from what you're trying to sculpt it onto. Anyway, that piece there is done, because only a couple of little marks on there. There's one here. In the next half of this, perhaps I'll use some of the Vallejo plastic putty and just see if that's any different. But we are pretty much at that time already, if you can believe, for a break. Crazy, huh? Quite a few pock marks on the top of this piece here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that for a second, and in a bit I'll come back and use the white stuff, the plastic putty, and see how different that is. Could be wild. Who knows? Could be awful. And then the big job really is this headpiece here, which if I was to make a decent green stuff sausage, I can actually push that into that seam line there, and that's probably the scale that's gonna benefit from. So yeah, actually sculpting stuff, very difficult but fun. I'm actually enjoying myself doing it. There are some people out there though that prefer doing this over painting, like Stafford, who's just joined this evening. Hi Staff, how are you doing, pal? Just lurking in the background. Yeah, lurker. Making a bonfire. Stop it. Sounds exciting and very summery. Cool. Right, well, I'm going to have a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to try out some different products and see where we're at. I've also just seen here, I don't know if you can see on this small camera, there's a gap just there as well. See where I'm pointing here? Just in there. That could do with filling as well. But anyway, I'll be back in about 10 minutes, so the live chat can go and clean up its language. It's getting a bit naughty today, isn't it? See you in 10. Bye-bye. welcome back. You might be able to hear in the background my compressor going crazy for the airbrush, just priming up because I thought I'd break up the project this evening with a little bit of painting, which would be exciting. I found some little sculpting tools which might make things a little bit easier. They're not little flat tools, they're more like pokey proddy tools, so they're not like necessarily little spatulas, but little like stabby bits, so I might be able to push some sculpting materials around a little bit. But I thought that right now I would have a little go with the plastic putty, so I'm just going to give that a bit of a shake. I haven't used it for a while, so it might not be any good, but worth having a little play around with. Is it worth having a little go, see what's going on in there? Anyway, welcome back. I hope you had a good break. I didn't really go anywhere, just had some water, looked at some bits of pieces of my models. If you're new here, you haven't been to Easy 8 before, or if you just haven't done it yet, please do consider subscribing. If you like what we do, hitting that subscribe button, it helps the community grow. We're at a record of 241 subscribers for a tiny little show run out of my attic. That's really cool. It's a really admirable number. Really nearly couldn't say that. So thank you if you've subscribed. Thank you if you've shared Easy 8's name. Get it around a little bit. Let's make it well known so that people can benefit from the community, because that's what we are, just a group of friends, people, you know, making friends, etc. Over a shared passion, which is making models and painting things and stuff, you know, and all of the history and lore that kind of comes with all the games that we play. Maybe I don't play games, maybe just make models. Come and tell me all about it. You can do so either here on YouTube, Facebook or Instagram. Well, actually, you can just kind of see what I do over at Instagram. Very little to have a chat with over there. But if you are a talky person, you can kind of join us over at Discord at the Easy 8 After Party. Links to all of our platforms are down there, and a whole host of links to people who I've met along the way, including people like my dad, who's over here in the live chat. So yeah, go and check all those links out. But don't do it right now. Stay here with me. And if you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up button, because that helps the algorithm. All hail the algorithm. And I said that for a while. Cool. I hope you're having a good evening so far. It feels like a bit of a slow evening, but actually, looking at all these tiny little bits of green stuff that I've been put on all over this model, it's delicate work. It's going to take a little bit more time as well, sanding it all down. But I thought I was going to be here for weeks, like maybe just doing one piece a night. But actually, I've just done 4, and there's not many more pieces to go. So that's what this plastic putty is all about. Let's go and have a look. Shiv says, the real question, given how hot it is Danny wearing anything underneath the desk? Answers on a postcard, because you will never know. That's how far we've descended today, is it? Okay. So this stuff is, I suppose it's pretty much what liquid green stuff is. Doesn't really want to come out this bottle. I think it might be kind of dried up, or maybe I've used most of it, I don't know. Oh, there we are. So it's got the same sort of consistency as PVA glue, and it just looks like a really thick white paint, but it is a putty, so this will probably work better with my little GW spatula. So I've got this piece here. This is the exhaust part. I was just having a look at all the different pieces to see if they had any little pock marks, and this piece here does have quite a few down the side here. That's my impression of pock marks. You can compare it to this here. Excuse me. The details has actually got printed text in there. It actually says stuff. It says ED209 OCP, and it gets so small I can't read it, but it is that's how good this print is. But for example, look at the details here. They're replicated on the other side. For starters, you can see this little semicircle, just a funky little detail. Flip it over the other side, and you can see that there's a big hole in it. That is a pockmark, and they're all on this side because it was positioned thusly in the printer, like the supports all came up from this end here. So I'm going to get a little bit of this putty and then just see how well this behaves. Now I don't want to go in too heavy with it, like like that. I say the problem. My phone was on in the background. The problem I've got with this is when I sand it, it just crumbles away, and it crumbles out of the recesses that I'm trying to put it into. It's also a little unwieldy to use. It's kind of already gone into that little panel line right there. If I flip this over, you can see there's like a little panel line here. I don't know if you can see that. On this side here, there's that panel line, and it was too easy just to kind of fill that detail. This is also water soluble, so if I was to wet the sandpaper, like wet and dry, it really disintegrates quite quickly. But you can see that this is way quicker, right? I'm just getting loads done here. But it's not that useful, obviously, if it just crumbles away. Now I'm going to overfill that hole there because that's quite a large pock mark. I've filled in that semicircle detail there. So what I'm hoping for is that when that dries, is I'll come in with a little pokey tool and I'll be able to basically just sort of carve it out. Something like that. Now this stuff dries quicker, because I suppose there's less of it. Dries quicker than green stuff, but I'm still going to leave it overnight. It's such a cool model that I just want to take my time with it. I want to do it right. I want to do right by it. Over to this piece here, you can see that I filled in a couple of little dots with green stuff. But on the top of this particular piece, over here, it goes smooth, 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 smooth. And it looks like the surface of Mercury, and that's no good to me or Ed 209. He wants to have nice smooth surfaces, please. And because it's so liquidy, it's so malleable, it means that I can just wipe it away with my fingertip, and I can just smear it in like that. And when I smear it out like that, you can see like focused dots, like more intense bits, and that's where it's filled in those little gaps. So it's worked. It's done its job. I just hope that when I sand it away, it doesn't crumble away, because it's just wasted time then, isn't it? Now on this one here, those dots are hidden, so that's good. Okay, cool. On the legs over here, so these are the hind leg parts. Excuse me, cough. I did notice that one side of them are actually peppered in them. So here we can see there's a gap. There's a gap. Now the best thing about this stuff is it's really easy to see against the black undercoat. Now that's just colour choice, obviously, but when it comes to having to sand all this down, it'll be really easy to identify where I need to go. I won't have to spend ages hunting it out, going, oh, what areas did I have to fill, etc. That looks good. Cool. And again, I'm just gonna leave it for overnight. This piece here. Look at all those pieces there. It's crazy, isn't it? Now, models that I've tried this product on are Games Workshop's Skitari miniatures, which I really like, and I used it for filling seams on cloaks and things, and I ended up just sanding it all out. So yeah, I don't have the best track record with this product. So I think that the finest sandpapers that I've got, like almost like 1000 grit or something like that, and that just means that any of the really tiny details that I'm filling in aren't going to be like aggressively abraded by heavier grit sandpapers. And again, this is all just theories in my head. Like it may just not work at all, or it may be the easiest thing I've ever done. Now this piece here isn't as bad as the one I've just done. Literally just a couple of dots here and there. Okay, that's all those pieces that needed doing. I've got a selection of little bits over here that don't need any filling, which is great. This is the big piece here. This piece doesn't actually have any pockmarks on him, but it has this massive line all the way around him, and that desperately needs some sort of attention. So, well, while I've got this putty here, I could always try, using this and seeing how well it goes. But I think most of that is going to have to be green stuff. So I've still got a massive lump of green stuff there that I'm going to try in a minute. But now I might just see where I could apply this that's going to have the least impact. Because even though it's still a really obvious line, in some places the actual gap is really thin, really narrow. So it might be that this is enough. Feels like it's easy, doesn't it? But I've got a feeling it's gonna be a real problem part later on. A quick check to see some of the live chat in here. Bash Street Kids with Plug and Lord Snooty. I don't understand that at all. You're saying what a brilliant reference. I remember I remember Bash Street Kids, but I don't know anything else what you're talking about there. Rocking a kilt. Do you know what? I think I'd rock a kilt. I'm a shorts guy, I wear shorts all the time, so got really white thighs but really tanned calves and shins. But yeah, do you know what? I think I'd suit a kilt. I think a kilt would suit me. I hope so, because that's a leather chair. Not repeating any of the rest. It might be that that's as far as I can go with this particular product, so I'm going to leave it. I don't want to overdo it, obviously. Let's get this piece of green stuff here. and roll that out as thin as I can. There's a little yellow nugget in there of what didn't get mixed in properly earlier on, and I'm just going to cut that out basically. Because it hasn't mixed well. There we are. It's too hot for kilts. Danny has his thong on. Maybe I do. You keep fantasizing, bruv. Surely that's behind the paywall. Yeah. Maybe that's like a pay-for-view thing later on, yeah. At least it's his own song. You assume. Oh yeah, there you go. We assume anyway. What if I mix the two? I have tried that, but I can't remember what the result was. I'll give it a go in a minute and see what happens. I have a feeling that they won't mix too easily because this is a really solid material and that's virtually liquid. It's getting to the point now where I have to actually use a tool to make this a little bit thinner. My finger doesn't seem to be doing a good enough job there. Let's just apply a little bit of pressure with this tool and just run it sideways down there like that. Oops. So the idea is to get an even thinner sausage than that, and basically just fill that massive seam . There's like pros out there going like, oh my god, what is that guy doing? Getting it all wrong, so please feel free to come out and show me how it's done. You can see that this is far too chunky, right? So it gets a little bit unruly when the sausage of whatever material it is that you're using gets so long, it starts to flick around all over the place. So it's actually quite nice to just kind of cut that down a little bit. And again, I like to use these tools because it's just a little bit easier than using finger, really. There we go. Okay. So I've basically just got to try and smush all of this material into there, right? Now you can see that the sausage that I used there probably wasn't thin enough, so I've got to go real thin with it, even though it's a massive seam to need to fill. Actually, the amount of green stuff that I need to, or the size of the green stuff sausage that I need to put in there is still really quite narrow. And I've had this model for quite a while now. I can't remember my dad, who's in the live chat, might be able to remember if it was a birthday present last year or a Christmas present last year. They're quite close. I'm a Halloweeny, so October 31st, quite close to, you know, very end of December. But I've had it that long, basically, either one of those two. And I've always known that like, dry fitting these components, that this was going to be an issue, and I've been nervous about it ever since. And sometimes you've just got to go and have a go at it, right? And yes, Shiv, I see the comment. When I said it, it wasn't lost on me. Maybe this isn't a family show. It's this textured bit here, really, that I think needs the most attention. Pushing this material in as far as I can so it doesn't stand out too far, because I'm going to have to sand it down. What's going to happen is I'm going to end up sanding away this pattern on here. Wonder if the webcam actually picks up. It's quite difficult to see, to be honest. But if you know Ed 209, you know exactly what sort of feature I'm talking about. It looks like some sort of heavy fabric. Now, maybe a good way of using these two materials in tandem is that this one does a lot of the heavy filling, and then once I've got most of this cavernous hole backfilled with green stuff, maybe I could go over it with the plastic putty. But like I said, I've not had the best results with it in the past, so let's just see how well we get with what we've done today. Slower than I thought for such a large area to fill. Let's see if I can get another piece here even narrower. This bit here is going to be quite tricky because there's like a little grill here, so I've kind of got to match that up. So I've got to get some filler in there and then still try to be able to keep that as a defined thing. So let's see what happens. tricky. Ah, it keeps on coming out. Another filler, of course, is super glue, and I think that's kind of an old school way of filling, because super glue goes really hard and really brittle, but it's sandable, so it can be like a really good way of filling. I have never used it deliberately as a filler before, so we're really interested to see if it's actually a useful method. But I feel that I'm kind of invested in green stuff right now, so Shiv, you holding your tongue out over there? Is it dressing slutty? Oh, I see, because of the mesh. Yeah, a mesh. I don't really know if it is a mesh. I don't know. It looks cool though, doesn't it? If you want my opinion, it's one of the most iconic robot builds ever in any media, and it was always going to be a difficult robot to redo. So when they did the reboot in 2014 with Michael Keaton and Joel Kinnaker, while it was a good movie, it wasn't RoboCop. If you want my opinion, RoboCop it's an untouchable film. And the Ed 209 had to have an appearance, of course, but the bar was set very, very high. I liked the Ed 209 in the remake. It was very functional. It was very utilitarian. I don't even know if that's a word, but it looked like a walking tank. It had that military feel to it, and of course there were multiple of them. And they said in the original movie that it's an urban pacification unit, so it is exactly for, walking into foreign lands and wiping out small areas, etc. And they were trialing it as an enforcement droid. The style of it in the new movie looked good, but it had none of the character at all. This is one of those very difficult areas to see when it's all in this colour. It needs to now be primed to see if it shows up any areas. I thought the break was round 8. I don't understand. It's a chuffing metal mesh. Alright, I get it. It's a metal mesh. I get it. Stop shouting at me, man. Coming over here with your harsh tones. What's he says in Kelly's Heroes? Your bad airwaves or something? Harshing me out with your bad air. Yeah. Great film. Clearly I don't remember the script very well. Okay, it's looking a bit better, isn't it? You're still going to be able to see it at that rate, but that's okay. I kind of want to come back to it a little bit later on. I just want to do some painting, because we are a painting club after all. So I'm going to put that away, put that over there, put that over there. Do you know what? I've had such a long, hard week, and I know I say that every week, but at the minute it's almost like it gets worse and worse. Just very, very busy. Nothing too extreme. I've totally forgotten about it all while I've been sat here with you, so thanks for the company this evening. That's kind of what it's all about. Negative waves, thank you very much. Woof woof. It's my dog impression. I love it. Yeah, so I just wanted to hit this with a little bit of the paint this evening. So the paint that I got for it, I used the painting app, or paint rack app, to work out what colour I wanted to paint Ed. Basically, it came up with a very simple grey from Vallejo, or sorry, from Ammo MIG. I think it's got an agitator ball in there. It has. Can you hear that? So it's going to give it a really good shake. So while I've turned the airbrush on, and I'm just going to go over the toes. He's got separate toes and these little shoulder flaps that just kind of stick over the top of his arms when he's all together. Now they're probably going to fly around all over the place, so I've got a little bit of blue tack here. Here we go. Just to hold them down in place on the piece of paper. You know, I've actually got a turntable down there, haven't I? But didn't think about that earlier. Pop that there. There we go. Doesn't need massive amounts of blue tack, it's just something to keep it stuck to the page and blowing around. Because they're so small, so light, the air from the airbrush just blows them around all over the place. Normally models are a bit heavier, or you can just hold them nice and simple. Two more pieces. Just little flappy shoulder bits. Excellent, there we go. As my dad's saying there, the best war film ever. Kelly's Heroes. Right. Blow check, brilliant. Clean airbrush, thank you for noticing. First time this paint pot has been opened. Lovely. I'm just going to put a couple of drops in there. Now, I really rate Ammo MIG and AK Interactive paints. I think they're some of the best out there on the market. I find them to be very, very similar in their qualities. And yeah, just a smooth paint. Just taking it nice and light to start with, nothing crazy. Really build that colour up in time. I'm not going to do any kind of effects like zenithal lighting or modulation, any kind of light rendering or anything like that. Just solid colours. And to be fair, I should probably get a bit more into that style of painting, just doing block colours, because that's what a lot of people who paint models do, and they look fantastic. And there's me trying to do all these fancy techniques to make it look more realistic, but actually real is real. So yeah, there will be some stylizations done on them later on, and I'm not going to go into that now, but I've got a plan, man. Trying to keep this really light. Don't want any heavy build up at all. Probably one of the most detailed models I've ever painted. I know he's got a few flaws in him here and there, but that aside, beautifully detailed model. This is absolutely the right colour that I wanted as well. I can see it all kind of coming alive, and these are just like really non-characterful bits. There's a part of me that's wondering if I should hit him with a type of varnish, like what texture varnish should I use? What finish? Should it be semi-gloss? Should it be matte? No, it shouldn't be glossy, that's for sure. But he has a very smooth appearance. If you look at any pictures of him, or even watch the film, it's good. He has a very smooth appearance to his colour, and that is not that he is deliberately painted glossy. He just has smooth components. Now this particular model here has like wear and tear and things kind of sculpted into it, but it might benefit from like a semi-gloss, like a satin varnish. Now the best thing about varnishes is I could make one pass with one and see if I like it. If it doesn't work, I can go over with another. What are your thoughts though? Should I hit it with a semi-gloss, or should I just go matte? Who knows? Go do some research on Ed 209 for me, and you tell me what you think I should do. Now the toes here, I don't have to do the undersides of them, but the shoulder parts I probably will do those. Because it'll be a much easier thing to see underside the shoulder bits, but the toes obviously they're going to be in contact with the floor. I do, of course, have more components that I've actually forgotten about until just right then, that second. I've got his arms here, which have no pock marks in them. Oh, there's a tiny little pock mark here. It's on the underside. We're not going to see that, I don't think. You might do, actually. Whatever. So I've got that one. I've got this arm here. Look for some pock marks. Yeah, there's a couple there. Some beautiful details on it. Look, piping and all sorts on it. Wonderful. And then we've got the weird hip joint thingy, which I think is all good. There's no problems with that at all. In fact, I might even be able to glue that in today. So this bit goes in under here. Now, when I was dry fitting this piece, actually it fits so well, it was very difficult to get it out. So it goes in there like that. Now before I glue this piece in, I'm going to paint the whole head piece here. So I need to have it all filled in, painted, because I want this bit to be black like an accordion billow. And actually this glossiness is probably the right finish that I want for it. And it'll go in there like that, and then obviously the legs go onto the hips there. It's cool, right? I love it. So there's some extra bits to do as well. Pop those arms over there. The staff says, was ED209 in Kelly's Heroes? I must have missed that bit. Yeah, watch harder. Just keep watching it until you see it. You'll see it, it will reveal itself. Jeff says satin varnish. Yeah, I think you're quite right. But soon moving to a new location and studio soon. Me? Are you referring to me? Yes, I am. One of the things I was going to be talking about this evening is how much longer I've got until that happens. I think I've probably only got one more show in me before I need to basically pack the studio down. Now I reckon I might be able to get another one after that as well, but I'm going to be running bare bones in here. Because actually, for this particular project, I've kind of got everything that I need. I don't need all my other bits and pieces, all the other paraphernalia. And then I can strike all the hardware down for the studio itself. The thing is, buying my new house, as exciting as it is, and we're moving into a lovely little place, it's one of those things where we just don't know how long it's going to take. We could be moving in within the next few weeks. We might be moving in within the next few months. But I want to be ready to go. And there's going to be a period of time where I'm not going to be able to run the show. I know the show's low budget. I know I'm not a massive YouTuber, but I still have fun, and there's still a positive reception at the other end, and I really do like that. And just like what Shiv is suggesting there, an Easy 8 unplugged episode, there is absolutely no reason why I still can't be doing bits and pieces. I could be running it from my phone, and while it won't have all the bells and whistles and the appearance that we all know, even if it's just a quick touch point, a 10-minute video to say, hey, this is what I'm working on, and show you bits and pieces that that I'm doing, I can still do these sorts of things. I'm open to all suggestions. So if you've got any ideas or any tips and tricks, maybe there's someone out there watching who's done something similar with their YouTube show, and they want to tell me how to do it. That would be really nice. It'd be really handy. Yeah. Moving house is really exciting, but it does mean that there will be an interruption in the regular schedule, and I'm really sorry about that. But we've got lives, man. This is a hobby, right? It's a pastime. Soz. Unplugged episode. Yeah, I like that. Easy 8 unplugged. There are lots of other channels and programs and stuff for you to rally around as well. Of course, there's always the Discord channel. So if you haven't already been over to the Easy 8 hangout, please go and check it out, because most people go and hang out there at the end of a show. I certainly will be for a little bit tonight. I am mega tired, so I'm not going to be on for ages. Maybe a little bit of cleanup, doing a little bit more filling perhaps, and then I'll call it a night. But people come and chill out there at the end of the shows, and I know that people also use it as a chill out during the week as well, and everyone should feel absolutely entitled to do so. So in the absence of my company, please go and seek each other out as well. This is looking kind of cool. I'm wondering if I should spray parts to, what's the word I'm looking for? To better identify areas to fill with putty, but maybe not. What I am going to do with this piece is, because I want to keep this bit glossy black, is I'm going to tape it off so that I can spray all this area here with grey. So another reason to use this cool modeller's tape that Kez gave me a little while ago. Thank you, Kez, by the way. Bit tricky to do. Oh my goodness, come on. Got to get that edge line just right. It's the thing with an airbrush is when you're masking stuff off, is it's very revealing of areas that you've missed. Gotta pop that on like that. It's an unforgiving tool sometimes, the airbrush. pull your finger out and move quicker. Oh. Oh, I see. Like move house, right? Wonder what we were talking about there. Overfill, then grind it down. What piece specifically? But yes, that's kind of. I think that's the main approach to all of this. But I don't want to like have too much overfill. I don't want to have too much stuff to carve down, because otherwise it's just a lot of carving, right? And that's not the point. The idea is to try and get it as flush as possible early on. Okay, something like that. But I am going to protect the rest of it. I don't have to be so neat and tidy now, but I just want to protect the rest of this area. Like so. Oh, that was nearly the perfect length. That nice when things like that work out, isn't it? Not going to do the whole thing because I'm going to be careful with how I'm spraying it, of course. Like that. Now we'll get a little, tiny little bit there, just to cover over that little gap. I think like that should be quite nice. Now I've also got these little bits on here. I think they're going to be black as well. I'm just going to try my best to be accurate for the moment here. See how that goes. Maybe I do need to cover everything, I don't know. I think I've actually just run out of paint just as I was about to start there. That's frustrating. In that case, I'll move these little bits away. There we are. Lovely. Trying to be so delicate, I might actually have to mask those little hip joints off. A tiny little blockage there. I think it's drying in the on the needle tip. Yeah, because I've got to get around the sides there that I've almost got to mask that off, really, haven't I? Or maybe I spray all of this grey and then mask off that, because it might be a little bit easier. I might even be able to hand paint those little bits in. So in that case, So much for being delicate, huh? Just going a bit heavier handed. Make it easier on myself, huh? There's some tiny little pock marks in there as well, but I don't think you're going to see those so easily. Nice colour. It's absolutely the right colour. It was very hard to get the colour dialed in because when I was selecting the colour from that image, it was selecting a pixel, and because of shadow and lighting and other variations within that image, I'm getting a different hit every single time. And the fact that I managed to dial into a very simple grey tells me that this is probably the raw colour of Ed 209. Everything else was just too specialist, really. So yeah. Nice colour, really like it. It's going to look absolutely wicked. I'm stoked. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like at the finished deal. Anyway, do you know what? We're pretty much there at the end of this evening. So let's come away from here. Feels like a slog, but I've got loads done. Lots of little dots all over, lots of little pieces. Lots of green stuff on these legs here. There's a lot of sanding to be done there. It might be that the liquid putty from Vallejo is the better option, just because it's probably going to be easier to carve, easier to sand. We'll see, and hopefully, I'll have some progress for you by next week. It's just so busy at work. I actually got about 3.5 hours sleep last night and dreamt of work. That's how crazy work is at the moment. So bear with me while I'm so tired and not getting anything done between shows and trying to buy a house and all those other extreme things. But that's life, right? Look, I hope you've had a wonderful evening. I hope you've got lots of painting done. I hope it's been at least some company, me struggling or investigating ways of kind of doing things smoothly while you're working away, getting all your projects done. That's the whole point of this show, just literally having some company while you do the stuff that we all do. So if you like what we've done, please do consider giving the video a thumbs up. Subscribing to the show, that is the best way of getting new people to come to the show, which is what we want. We want this community to grow. I certainly do. Anyway, I'm speaking from a singular point, but I'd love the community to grow. So if you know someone who you think might benefit from the show, bring them along, get them to bring their friends along, maybe set up a little club, and we can have like an Easygate Club franchise thing going on. That would be super cool, but that only works if you go out and talk about it. So by all means, go put up a poster up at college or at work or wherever it is that you are. Wear a t-shirt with Easy 8 all over it. Get people asking the question, what is Easy 8? Come along and find out. Paint your models and have some company along the way, because we've all got mountains and mountains of unpainted grey plastic, and the whole point of this show is to get some colour on your grey. So yeah, there we go. Do keep in touch through Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and here obviously YouTube. If you've got photos of your stuff to show, put it up on any one of the platforms that you like to do it on. You can do it on all of them if you want to. The more the merrier, so we can see what it is that you're working on, because I am genuinely inspired and motivated by the stuff that you guys do. And that brings us to the final part of this show, which is basically me just saying goodbye. But if you want to say anything now, now's the time to say it. Thank you for the stream. You're absolutely welcome. Jeff's there saying definitely the right grey. Yeah, I agree. I think it absolutely is the right grey. I was getting all sorts of weird little anomaly greys, like some sort of like blue greys and navy and aircraft greys and things, and they all seemed a little bit greeny or bluey. This one is just pure grey, and I like it. It's a good colour. The first rule of Paint Club is we always talk about Paint Club. The second rule is no smoking. Are you alright, mate? Are you broken? Anyway, look, that's enough from me this evening. I hope you guys have had a wonderful evening. And until next week, stay safe, keep on painting, and I will see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. See ya. Well, that was a shit end to the show, wasn't it? I hit the wrong button! God, I'm rubbish at this.